Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our losers finals. The third place will be decided here for our Deathmatch tournament in the red color. This is Velite. He's gonna be playing as Kronos, and his opponent on the other side of the map in the blue also playing as Kronos. We're getting a whole lot of Kronos or Atlantean mirror matchups today. That's Ryuk. So what's important here, it's really unexpected, but actually Chiroballista are insane. You might see a few Terma mixed in just to fight that off better. But yeah, the counter units, if you make them in a blob, they'll outperform the regular barracks ones for the most part. So Ryuk is already preparing for this, whereas Velite is going a little bit down the split. Very few counter barracks compared to Ryuk, right? At least in the opener, but then he added them in, so maybe it's gonna be fine in the end. Let's see, but Ryuk's strat definitely is gonna be mass Chiroballista and then follow it up with some siege. Let's see if Velite can handle it. He's getting out some Contarius, which should be put to a stop by the Murmillo. And we're just not seeing as many Chiroballista getting made by Velite. He's more splitting into Terma and Arcus and all that. And Ryuk will definitely be winning the early game with that. The deconstructs are coming through for probably both players. I think Ryuk wants to do it on this specific palace. And both players are obviously trying to grab their forward town centers. The manor's built in a location so as to help with that. Looks to me like Velite is actually doing a little bit better with production, like he's keeping up a much higher population count. I suppose that's because the palace has been doing hundreds upon hundreds of damage to these Chiroballista, and the two Wardens of Tartarus have survived for Velite. If he can make some more of those, he can do even more work to this army. The fire siphons are now out and he's starting to siege Ryuk. This might be a very short game because both guys build on top of each other, very close to the middle. So yeah, that might actually be a very short one. Ryuk trying to get the front TC up, but his villagers are already under attack there. Nobody has time for relics in these situations. It's just all very tight timings. Ryuk did end up using his deconstruct, by the way. But unfortunately for him, his palaces are shooting fire siphons and whatnot, so that's not so great. But now he's got fire siphons of his own and should be able to plow through the frontal base of Velite. Meanwhile, this fire siphon's going to work as well. TC is up. They'll be able to defend these villagers. They are regenerating, so they'll be fine over time. Ryuk actually time shifting a bunch of towers. That is annoying, but it's not gonna be too much of an issue. Eye of Ornlu would be a really good pickup, but oh my god, now that Ryuk has the fire siphons, this composition has entirely changed everything. A lot of satyrs are out as well. How many is that? 5 satyrs? So they're definitely holding down the ground. The fire siphons should shoot the fire siphons, Chiroballista shoot everything else. That's the strat. They themselves don't have much crush armor, so the fire siphons can pick them off very easily. But unusual maybe to see that, but the Contarius are not gonna do well against this range composition. You just have the passes backing them up, you add a little infantry, and that's all good then. Ryuk's fire siphon focus fire on fire siphons is a little bit better than that of Velite's. But can he get ahead? He still doesn't have more of them than Velite does. Population is now starting to look even-ish. Both players have 3 town centers, so that's good. Our game might stabilize a little bit. Won't be going down that easily, say both players. Ryuk's starting to pull ahead a little bit in terms of population. He's got a little bit more gold, but Velite's gathering with more people. And that's already showing its fruits. Fire Siphons doing thousands upon thousands of damage, and some of these Cairo Ballista as well probably have done so. No, they're all gone. Maybe Velites? Not even them. So Ryuk has a really good composition now. 200 population, it's 130. This is his moment. This is when he can actually punch through all these buildings without too much in his way. He's not gonna have a deconstruct ready. That's gonna recharge very slowly. The recharges, just generally speaking, are gonna be slower. More Fire Siphon pickoffs. And yeah, Ryuk just have a bigger army, man. Like, up until now. Oh my god, the vortex into the middle of that. I don't know about this. Is this actually a good idea? Does Velite have what it takes here? So Love Contarius, Ryuk is just gonna be like, nah, I'm out. Going for a counterattack. He can see all this stuff after all with the oracles. He has the potential to take off the entire economy. Ooh, that's a lot of dying donkey sounds right there, gamers. And the town center has been destroyed already. Velite hasn't even had a moment to react. He's trying to pull back his Contarius, but by the time he does, Ryuk breaks through the wall and he's gonna be through his own. The Contarius won't be able to follow. Or hell, does Ryuk even run? He has so many fanatics here. He could just take the fight. That was a really smart counter vortex. You're supposed to do something of offensive nature like that with it, not just jump into the army. I really don't like that from Velite. And he's getting punished for it too now. Okay, the fanatics are now fighting the cavalry. They're gonna pick them off very, very easily. Not a problem at all. There's a nice little flank from the back though. They might pick off some of these Fire Siphons, but meanwhile Ryuk is getting a double palace going. His new army also coming out to fight off Velite. Velite does have some good income. I mean, he's made all these village centers, right? That's definitely paying off. Ryuk has a raid going on the far side as well to pick off some additional citizens. That's some very nice raiding for sure. They'll get it done too. But guess what, guys? The Fire Siphons are continuing to pick off manors. They have picked off a village center, and the next one probably won't be long for this world either. Let's see if Ryuk can get out some myth units. For Velite, this is about survival now. I'm not sure he can survive. Not with these villagers getting picked off as well. That's a lot of losses in terms of income right there. His buildings are getting destroyed too. Not a comfortable place to be in, but Ryuk stealing another town center there actually. Is he gonna bring more villagers or no? Doesn't look like it. But he's gathering a lot. His income is replacing his spending mostly. That's all that matters, not whether you have a lot of resources in the bank. I mean, that matters too. If you get raided, you have a backup, right? But yeah, Ryuk is gonna take this first game here pretty comfortably, although not without a bunch of scary moments maybe. His military was just bigger for a long period here towards the end. The second half really. And he did collect a lot more resources, so that's a double victory. Plus he even outkilled Velite just barely. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here at game 2, and Ryuk is gonna be bringing 4 to the table here in the blue color. And his opponent, Velite, has got Freyr. Unfortunately, I don't have an intro card for Freyr right now. We're fixing that for the next tournament. And once we have the fix, we'll also share the casting tool with people so they can have a nice overlay. Even for just casual casting, it's gonna be useful, I hope. Alright, so Velite with Freyr, I think he has maybe a small advantage here. But we'll see if Ryuk actually goes for Tier in this matchup. I personally really like Tier, but I'm not sure I would do it against Freyr of all things. You get to run around with those wolves and pick off all the economy, maybe even town centers. And then you get very powerful Huskar as well, which can go after bases. You get flaming weapons and Fimbulwinter. both helping you control the game. But actually Ryuk is just gonna go more classic here with the Frost. So I think he might be not looking for tier, and in fact just go for a good old Fire Giant spam. Trying to win the frontal fight with Super Throwing Axeman from 4 and Skadi. It's a good idea. I mean, you want to shut down these berserks that are gonna get souped up later with Vidar. But they're not even broggy, so yeah, they're not gonna be that crazy. Still, the Throwing Axeman is in mass is a very powerful tool. And Ryuk is already mythic, getting up some additional hill forts, and getting a lot of pickoffs done as well. He's doing certainly very well here. The back town center will be pretty quick. Velite barely started on the front one. He might actually lose this fortress as well, but will he though? I think this is strong enough to pick up the Throwing Axeman. Trouble with the Throwing Axeman is they do hack damage and have a bonus against buildings, so it really does add up. Bear Greasy might be a little bit difficult for Norse to pick off, so I think as a result of that you have to get out some giants. Frost Giants are going to be the way to go for Ryuk. Interesting to see that. I guess these guys are going to shut down Fafnir's very hard. Ryuk certainly has a nice army out, but he's trying to attack Velite's third base where he didn't get his own. So these guys will have to go and grab the third at some point. Right now Ryuk is enjoying a population advantage, but for how long? Looks like his frontal hill fort will be destroyed here. Velite should be able to get a huge economy going with all these village centers. Every time these Fafnirs die, they give you back some gold. Now, the Deathmatch patch has reduced how much gold you get back. So that's a little bit of help there for Fafnir enjoyers. But still a lot. Oh, here comes the Golem Bursty. A lot of heroes in here though, and they don't get knocked back by it. It's already down. Oh, that Golem Bursty didn't do much at all. Maybe Ryuk should just go freeze this army and then blast through the rest. He's got control of the front TC more or less. Oh, making a bunch of herdmen. What the hell? What's that for? I guess there's some cavalry out, but it's not that bad. Sitting through Tempest, not the best moment. But what can you do? Ryuk will have Frost available. I mean, he did end up going tier, but he's not making any wolves. You show up in the middle of this with 10, 15 wolves, they're gonna chew up the entire army, by the way, so that's something to consider. I think Ryuk might swap later. He does have all this food, and you can just use that up with the wolves. Also, the Throwing Axeman just killed like 4 ballista. That's insane. Okay, Rams looking for some damage. They could get the village centers very easily here. Bear in mind that the villagers no longer have a bonus damage against siege, so it's not that easy to get rid of Rams anymore. They actually can do some damage. Taking out some village centers comes fairly easily. All those berserks are still getting pulled into the fighting. Not sure they're doing that great with the Throwing Axeman, just shrekking them really. So he freezes half the army so he can deal with the rest. Bear Greasy having an absolute party there though. as they have 60% armor. And we've got a Fimbulwinter, a slightly buffed one, because it's so weak in 1v1, especially later game when you have a lot of buildings. But this one's actually doing pretty good right now. Velite wasn't ready for it. I think he's used to just ignoring it. But in the DM patch, they have some health. So these buildings aren't just gonna absolutely wreck him. You actually have to ring your bell. You're not gonna destroy the building still. Not very easily anyway. Yeah, see that, like, they still go down. Oh wait, we've got an Inferno. Ryuk does split to the best of his ability, but it's a little too late. If he had walked into it maybe a little bit more, that could have helped. Oh man, he's making all the wolves from one temple? No. That's gonna take too long, Ryuk. Oh, he's running out of resources actually. But he doesn't have fewer villagers than Velite, and Velite's also running out of resources, so this could actually be fine. Wow, that Bear Greasy just absolutely taunting the throwing axes while Velite's ones are picking them off one by one. This is going really well. Finally, we have a healing spring, but Ryuk is pumping out those wolves, and once there's like 5 or 6, he can really go to work with those, find those gold villagers, and maybe even put this game away. But I do think he needs a second temple sooner rather than later. Just one, not enough. Takes forever to get them made. Velite's looking for a little bit of a counter-offensive. Those wolves will be a nasty surprise to him. Yeah, Ryuk's heading out with just the handful of wolves he does have. Should be able to find something. Town center is under heavy attack by those ballista. I think we are gonna get picked off very easily by the throwing axes. Shouldn't be an issue. And the wolves are rising in numbers as well. Now 7, 8 coming up. Does look like Velite has fallen apart, ladies and gentlemen. He's just got 90 population. His buildings are getting picked off as well. Sure, the wolves are flimsy. They can be killed fairly easily. But you see how much favor Ryuk has. And that's after he's got like 20 something of these in the queue. So the patch does increase their favor cost a bit. As well as the population count, because they're just 2 population normally. That's insane. Well, there's the opening for the wolves. Let's see what they can do. Meanwhile, however, the Fafnirs are going after the throwing axes. Oh my god. Yeah, Ryuk's doing a little bit of kiting there. The villagers are getting picked off, but also garrisoned. The TC is full, however, so yeah, that's all the ones that were gonna be saved. Hans, get the Flammenwerfer! Ooh, that's a lot of kills again from the wolves. Velite just stuck on very, very low economy here. Can these wolves actually make it out? There's no easy way out of this. I guess they can go through these barracks, and here's all the villagers. It's a good attack spot for Ryuk for sure. Immediately catching quite a bunch of the villagers. Oh my god. Yeah, he's definitely killing the villagers faster than they can be remade. Huge advantage for Ryuk, as he's got now 56 villagers. He's getting a trade route set up.
Yeah.
Good amount of people on all the resources, actually, just not food yet. He'll have to work on that at some point if he wants to make more wolves. We'll eventually run out. But population-wise, he keeps doubling Velite's army, so that's looking very, very nice. And the wolves are looking for another hit back here. Jarls are here to chase him. I mean, they got good stats, so they'll be able to fight them off somewhat. But the wolves have insane DPS. like 40 DPS or something, and Ryuk is going to be victorious. He's going to the grand finals with Velite being your third place. So thanks to Velite for playing and congratulations on his third placement. But we're off to the grand finals now. Ryuk against Matador there. Yeah, Velite just ran out of resources, never really got to gather that much, and he hasn't outkilled Ryuk by enough to make up for the difference. We want to thank our website patrons. This is by far the best way to support MetaPlays. Your contribution helps keep the project sustainable and allows us to produce more and better content. If you aren't yet a patron, check out our link in the description and get in touch to collect your perks. We will see you the next time.